Hey, what's going on? So it's the last full disclosure. Um, I'm going to clarify a few things. I'm going to take swipes at people before I go. I'm going to do a last unboxing. Then I'm going to issue my challenge. Um, and then I'm probably going to be out. Yeah. So let's do this last unboxing. I have a bunch of stuff to unbox, actually. It's been piling up over the last month and a half, 2 months. Of course, to everybody who's ever sent me shirts and stuff like that, thank you so much. It's been wonderful. Literally, from the webcam that I use that's of higher quality that was given to me, this gamer chair that I'm sitting in, to the gamer desk that the laptop is sitting on. All of these things to pictures of all these hot women. Like, all of these things have been gifted to me. Brief story, which I'm going to tell at length on my new website and new YouTube channel. All those links are below, by the way. If you'd like, I would appreciate you subscribing to those things. The various websites below in the description get me off to a flying start. Would be great. But this part of the story goes. So I found out that my sister died, and it was my other sister who told me. There's three of us. I'm the baby. Oldest sister's the one who died. Middle sister's the one who found out and told me. And needless to say, we were upset. We talked at length. My middle sister has always been incredibly efficient about stuff, very diligent. So she flew to Hawaii all the way from Virginia to take care of stuff and to find out exactly what happened and that kind of thing. And I was thinking about my sister, who was the last of our family that was still in Hawaii. My parents had moved out. I obviously don't live in Hawaii anymore. My sister Linda doesn't either. So it was just my sister Patty was the last Scarborough in Hawaii. And I came to work, and this was left on the table by a customer. Bizarre. I've never seen it. It's a freaking flower lei. So I'm not one that believes in signs, but I did find that incredibly noteworthy. So I'm wearing this lei because it's letting me think about my sister and the big changes. See, I don't take the full disclosure thing lightly. I've done it. I did the written version over the course of years, and there were 50 editions of the written full disclosure, which is kind of how I got into talking about the Georgia scene at length. Started a bunch of shit, helped keep people, innocent people, out of jail, exposed different things. Had the famous wrestling autopsies where I would dissect why certain leagues went out of business, that kind of thing. And then the video form of full disclosure, which started as me just really ranting about everybody's shit take that they were having about Priscilla Kelly and how, her doing some tampon spot at a bar show was going to stop her from getting signed. And that kind of dictated what full disclosure was going to be. Me just expressing my opinion regardless of the popular tropes at the time. And I didn't give a fuck if it was Jim Cornette. I didn't give a fuck who thought that they knew more. I was always going to speak my mind. I'm going to continue to do that. It's just now I'm expanding the scope. Let me clarify something before I do this unboxing. So for people who think I'm going to have nothing to do with Georgia wrestling history from now on, you are incorrect. I have nothing to do with the awards. That's for certain. Um, but as far as doing podcasts with Larry, we've been doing them for 8 years, and I'm going to continue to do them if he will continue to have me. Um, yeah, we have interviews lined up. In the past year, we've interviewed a lot of the people that I wanted to interview, and we were really shooting for the moon. Um, and I want to continue to do that. And I really enjoy doing that. Will I ever write an article about wrestling again? Yeah, but it'll be under the Vengeance Only banner, and then I'll be sure to share them if they are relevant to wrestling, to Georgia wrestling history. So that's clear, right? it's the awards thing that was taken away from me completely. Um, and so that's not happening this year. Um, but I have a feeling that will fall back into our laps soon enough. But we're going to talk about that more in a bit. Let's do this unboxing. So this is sent to me from Priority Mail, the Orlando Health Foundation. So I don't know what that is. I don't know what this is about. I'm going to put it here because it's easier for me to get stuff. Huh. Together we can change kids' health. That's nice. You know, I love the shirts. That's one my kids are going to steal from me. It's a bunch of, a ton of, I don't know what the fuck this, it's a ton of snacks. It's chips, Powerades. What is this? Pop chips. Super cool. What? Bars. Oh, Clapper. Orlando Health. Okay, there's a note here. So we're going to read this note. This is certainly an unusual and an interesting unboxing. I'm really trying to find some clue. Oh, Dream World Coke. What the? Are they trying to sell me something? Never boring. Thank you. Handwritten note, Katie. Katie's the person, I know who she is. She's in charge of Extra Life, the charity that I've played for the past few years. And I haven't done it this year. Last year, I raised the most money for them that I ever have. And this is, I guess, them thanking me for doing that last year. Fuck a duck. I wasn't ready for that. Obviously, things have been so crazy this year, right? Between working minimum 80 hours a week every single week, adapting to this kind of new life of where all I'm doing is working, doing the best I can by my kids, and then sleeping. That's what my life mostly entails now. And traditionally I do it on President's Day, right, which is in February. I haven't done it. Fuck it. Fuck it. I'll get it done this year. I'll find a way to play for 24 hours straight, and I'll think of a theme, and I'll just do it. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do it because it's the right thing to do. And I believe in that Extra Life charity. And fuck, my Twitch stream and all that gaming shit is a big part of what I want to kind of get back to doing. That shit was getting big, and I just dropped anchor on it and stopped it, and I need to pull that anchor up and keep it going. And you Extra Life motherfuckers are sneaky as shit. Boy, sure is nice of them though, isn't it? Fuck, they got me. Cool. So by the end of the year, I'm going to do my 24-hour thing, and then I will try to resume doing it on President's Day. And just do it again. I have a couple of ideas of what to do anyway. But maybe what I will do is, for this year, because the AEW game doesn't come out until December 31st. By the way, is that the dumbest shit of all time? So you're going to release your fucking game. God, AEW, you make it so hard to love you. So you're going to release your game after the Christmas season. It just goes to show how fucking down to the wire this bullshit is. Speaking of down to the wire, so the awards show. So I put out my video, and then now Gary Lamb wants to act like he's fucking some kind of big swinging dick about shitting on the awards show. Um, I'll get to him in a moment. The awards shit. What do I think the key to that thing is? If it's to have any prayer at all, especially now that Murder has stepped away and told me the circumstances of which he stepped away. But that's a conversation between me and him. I'm not gonna talk about that. What do they need to do? They need fucking leadership, and it's not Tyreek, and it can be Nausea, but somebody has to take the leadership role in that because Gary Lamb has clearly abandoned them. I thought that post that he put up about how I'm going to have a table, it's going to be me, Murder, and Josh, and we're going to have booze, and we're going to drink it up, and I thought that was one of the most puerile, lame things of all fucking time. Not on Murder and Josh and Tyler Gazaway's end. I thought on Gary Lamb's end. Because he's privy to the information. He's in a position where he could possibly help or mentor them. And instead, he's doing what he usually does, which is to take the coward's way out. He senses it's a sinking ship. And he never said it publicly until I did. And then now all of a sudden it's like, yes, I too agree that it is a shit show. He even texted me about this. We're going to get more into that text in a bit. But the fact, Gary Lamb's behavior in all of this, and that he continually talks about how he's this great promoter, and everybody else sucks, and he's better, and he's the only real promoter. Let's be real. The promoter of the year is Ricardo, and it's not even close. Ricardo has never made excuses. When Ricardo's crowd slips from 1,200 to 1,000, let me repeat that. When Ricardo's crowd slips from 1,200 to 1,000, he doesn't make excuses. He doesn't say, well, because I didn't promote. The best promoter does not actively tell you how they don't promote. The best promoter takes anything that has his name involved with it and strives to make it the best that he can. Not cut and run and just go, well, I promised them they could have the building so they can have the building, but it's not my show, and I think it's a shit show, and in fact, I'm going to actively go out of my way to ruin the experience. There's a lot of you that probably admire this fucking puerile behavior. I do not. I think it's pathetic. I think it's the fact that there are people who kiss his ass and support the behavior says more about them than it does even about him. The fact that Gary offered them this building free of charge, offered them the space, acted like he was enthusiastic about the idea, and now, at the first sign of trouble publicly, has completely abandoned them and in fact gone out of his way to act like he's one of the cool kids. Instead of going, God, these guys are fucking kind of coming under fire a little bit. I could probably help them out here. This is something I'm good at. I'm good at putting on events. I can help them out here. But he didn't do that. I don't think that behavior is admirable. I think it should be beneath Gary Lamb, but I'm not sure such a thing exists. And Gary would call me a friend, and I would call him a friend. It doesn't mean that I find this behavior in any way admirable. I think it's disgusting. And as much as I don't like the award show format and how they've gone about it, and the fact that neither Tyreek nor Nausea has even to this time bothered to talk to me about it. Tyreek said he was willing to talk today, but I haven't heard from him, probably because he heard the last video and he's just like, oh fuck, I don't want to talk to Steve because I'm scared or whatever the fuck. I find Gary's sort of weird distancing himself from it while trying to appear to be honorable to be loathsome. And even his text to me, somebody showed me your video. He said, oh, like, because he's God on high, see? And so somebody had to present him with this. He had no idea that I put out videos and these things exist. Somebody had to bring it to, just the language is ridiculous. And even that post that he had, let's see if I can find that fucking happy horse shit. So pull up a chair and let me speak on this one time and one time only. Of course, he's spoken it indirectly since then many times. Blah, 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 blah. I like the award, blah, blah. Larry has done a great job over the year covering the awards. I mean, that's not even accurate. Larry is basically responsible for the awards happening. He doesn't just cover them from afar. It's his shit. Steven Scarborough has done a good job making the awards more relevant. I like the awards. But then this whole thing is really, and I mean, you can look at the ink spilled on it. It's just so he can launch into what a great promoter he is and how there's no other promoter like him. Ricardo is promoter of the year. If we can take somebody doing 12 shows as being promoter of the year, or conceivably 6 shows a year for those shows that do every other month to be promoter of the year, I think we can do 4. And Ricardo makes more money in one show than Gary Lamb has probably made it in his entire Southern Honor run. If your definition of a great promoter is somebody who makes money, it's Ricardo. If it's whoever's getting the biggest crowds, it's Ricardo. And if it's the show that the wrestlers want to be on the most, I think they're figuring out that it's Ricardo. And I would love for Gary to dispute that. I would love for him to pretend. He himself said when he won the award last year, yeah, it's Ricardo. Because it's Ricardo. So you can take all that puerile shit that Gary Lamb said and throw it right out of the window. Because Gary Lamb himself admits that it is Ricardo. He's promoter of the year. But the rest of that self-serving crap about how he's such a great promoter that him shitting on the show is giving it more attention. No, what gave it more attention was the great videos and stuff that those guys dropped. And they started to get the word out, a la Fire Festival, right? We're going to have a bunch of people promoting this thing. I think Naja put those videos together, and I think they're really great. But as far as who gave the shows the most attention publicly, I was the first to just go like, fuck this shit. Followed soon after Murder, who disavowed himself of the thing. And then Gary jumps on and does whatever. But I mean, this idea of who's done the best job negatively helping to promote that show is silly. And it really is of zero relevance to me. Except to say this. The number of people who have reached out on that video, including people I haven't heard from in a very long time, expressing condolences for my sister dying. And expressing, you know, like if this is really the end of you being involved with wrestling, you know, I'm really proud, or, you know, Georgia Indie Wrestling is going to really suffer for you not covering it because you're my only touchstone to it, and blah, 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 blah. All that stuff is really great. But again, let me clarify, right? I'm still going to do podcasts with Larry. I'm still going to occasionally cover stuff. But are you going to have P lists? Probably not. Not specifically about Georgia wrestling. But I might highlight stuff. Hell, on the things below in the description, a new YouTube channel, a TikTok related to it, and a Twitter related to it, where I'm going to put out information constantly. I will talk about wrestling. But it won't be, if I had to put a number on it, I'd say it's going to be 20% or less of what I talk about. Because I got a whole lot of shit I want to talk about. And I got a podcast of my own I want to do, which is basically where I talk to friends of mine who have these incredibly specialized fields of knowledge that I think a lot of people can learn from. Plus, they're just fascinating. Whether it's, you know, my friend Amy, who's the wife of one of my best friends, who is setting powerlifting records at age 50 in Minnesota. Something that she's only gotten into in the last few years. fucking fascinating, right? Whether it's friends of mine who come to Disney so often that they've stayed at just about every place and they have more inside knowledge about how to do what works at Disney, what's good, what's the best value for the money, all that kind of shit. To friends that do just about everything else. Is wrestling still going to be involved? Yes, but like I said, it's a part of my life. It's not my life anymore, and the channel is going to reflect that. Um, there's going to be a lot of stuff in there about the unconventional way that I raise my kids, and I dare say it's a big part of the reason why they fucking rule. In any case, to the people who have reached out, and it's been very sincere, and it's been very lovely, and it's been very comforting for people to reach out and go like, "Hey, man, I'm sorry about your sister." Some of the people I engaged in a little back and forth with about it. Some I did not. I would just acknowledge, thank you for saying that, whatever. Um, it told me a lot about people and their good nature and how lucky I am to have known so many people through wrestling, many of whom are just so kind. I will say this as well, and this will seem like such a brutal thing to say, but I will say the brutal thing, and then I will move on to the challenge, and then this will be done. Here's the brutal thing. So, of everybody who contacted me in regards to the awards and reacted to the video that I made yesterday, and there were, I can't even really accurately put a number on it. I will say it's dozens of people, meaning more than 24. Um, every single one of them expressed condolences about my sister. Some of them didn't want to talk about the wrestling shit at all. Some of them at least gave lip service to, "I'm sorry about your sister." Some of them said some very sincere, nice things in regards to the passing of my sister. And then we talked wrestling or whatever. But only one person contacted me about some award show bullshit or some wrestling bullshit that acknowledged that they watched my video where I talked about my sister dying in the first 10 seconds of the fucking thing, and said nothing and gave me no condolences about my sister. Meaning, they didn't care about that part at all. They couldn't even give a cursory lip service to it. That they were so interested in talking about themselves that they immediately just skipped that part. And it was Gary Lamb, the only guy who contacted me in any way, shape, or form about any of this wrestling shit or awards shit, who watched that video and couldn't even bother with the "sorry about your sister." I'm sure he's got a million excuses. I'm sure he's going to do some whataboutism bullshit in his own head. Because the greatest weakness of Gary Lamb, as I have said for years now, is his inability to really own up to anything. Am I wrong? And if he's listening to this, and I'm sure he is, though he will pretend that he didn't, or "somebody showed me this clip," or whatever bullshit, fucking lie, charlatan shit he's going to say. Um, the fact that his mind is working towards an excuse or an explanation. I skipped ahead to the, instead of just owning up and going like, "that is fucked up, man. We're friends. The first thing that should have been on my mind is your sister and her death. I'm sorry." But that guy takes a perverse pride into feeling like saying "I'm sorry" and asking for some form of forgiveness is tantamount to weakness. And if you look at people through a certain lens, if you look at through the lens of they're acting out of weakness, not out of strength, their posts take on a whole different vibe. And I dare say a more accurate one. My challenge is this. So this bullshit show is happening what? January 23rd. Let me confirm that. We'll try to be accurate here. January, no, it's January, it's a Friday. So is it the 20th? Yeah, it's either the 20th or the 27th. whichever one it is of no consequence. So they have that amount of time to pull this thing off. Maybe Gary Lamb will help them instead of just being a little bitch that's distancing himself from this thing that is in his building, as he loves to say, my building, my building. You think he would take pride in it, but we'll see. I have a feeling that he will indeed sort of disavow himself of it, because to do otherwise would mean that he would have to work. And I think he is loath to do that. He is very keen on talking about how hard he works, but very loath to do it most of the time. Um, I'm not saying he's lazy. I'm just saying that, you know, there's a lot of talk about hard work over hard work. There are certain areas where I believe he does work really hard, but boy, he doesn't seem to be able to keep a lot of balls in the air. And as somebody who keeps many in the air, including two that are attached to me, uh, I know of which I speak. So this event is going to take place. My channel is going to start putting out content tomorrow. It's called Vengeance Only. There's a Twitter. There is a TikTok. So I can do these short videos that I'm calling Fuck Your Shit Take, where I do these quick, brutal rebuffs of dumb shit that people say, both wrestling related and otherwise, and explain to you why they are fucking terrible shit takes. I'm going to just tear them apart, and podcasts and all kinds of stuff and written things, and a YouTube channel associated. Again, you can subscribe to all that below. I will say this, here's my challenge. By the time that show goes off, assuming that it's still going to go off, in January 20th or 27th, whatever day it manages to happen, um, my thing will be a way, way, way bigger deal. And I am loath to sort of promote stuff and really push things forward. But fuck it, I'm going to push this thing forward because it is a thing that I really want to do. And I'm going to revamp the Patreon to reflect that as well, and come up with some really cool things for the Patreon people as well. Um, with that said, that's my challenge. Who's going to be a bigger fucking deal? Are you going to actually pull off this awards shit? Or am I actually going to pull off this multi-channel thing that I want to post on all of the time and I have all these great ideas and projects for? Whose shit is actually going to fly? Which plane is going to take off? And which plane is going to fly higher as of the time of that show? I know that that's very subjective, but I think by the time the awards show rolls around, if it rolls around, it'll be pretty clear who's doing better. And my money's on me. In any case, full disclosure has been a shit ton of fun to do. I do leave it open that I may do it again, or I may do it under the auspices of talking about whatever I want to talk about. That's the ability I have when you control your own fucking shit. In any case, I'm not going away. As they love to say, this isn't goodbye, this is see you later. And in fact, it's going to be see you tomorrow if you subscribe to that shit below. Peace out. My sister's name, by the way, for those that asked, is Patricia Patty. And boy, she was cool as shit. I'm the baby, and I'm 50. And she was much older. She was in her 60s. And it's interesting how things work out because it feels scary to sort of leave this sort of format that I've created for myself. But something that feels good is I think other people felt encouraged to do the same. I just watched a video from Rob Rod where he's putting up $500 for Iceberg's show, and he's going to give it to Iceberg, and he's challenging other people to do the same. And I thought to myself, my God, Rob is fucking leading. He's really leading. Rob should be fucking proud of himself. Um, Georgia wrestling history, I ain't leaving it, um, but I think it's safe to say that it is in good hands. But that award shit, you motherfuckers are gonna have to work, or I'm going to fucking bury you. And I think you can already feel the dirt hitting the box, can't you? This has been Full Disclosure.